I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. Because the mother may be watching. I'll just say this. She was told by her boss to go over to Women and Children's Hospital and pick up a 20-week-old baby that they had to abort to save the mother's life. I'll say that to say this. They say, well, it's not a living human until the head crowns. That's the biggest lie that's ever been told on this earth. Let me tell you something. There was a few things I didn't like that day. We go over to the hospital. They take us in a room where there's baskets with blue ribbons and pink ribbons. This lady, this nurse, looks at the tags. Hi, Linda Mead, I love you, baby. We walk outside. I thought sure she was going to leave the baby in the basket. She sets it on the trunk of the car, and I was shoving some things that we'd bought at Sam's over out of the way. And the nurse, I reached to get the basket, and she said, oh, wait, you can't have the basket. Hi, Danny Dominic. I said, what do you mean I can't have the basket? Is that not the way you transport them? No. So she took the lid off, and she reached down, and she got some dark-looking wax paper with a bow tied on it. Said, where do you want him, in the trunk? I said, no, he's not riding the trunk. He's going to ride the back seat. So she laid him in the back seat. I said, ma'am, I'm sorry, but that don't seem appropriate. Would you sell me that basket? And I pulled a $100 bill out. I said, I'll pay you $100 for that basket. And I know that'll more than cover it. She said, sir, I can't do that. That's selling hospital property. And she put the lid and she walked away. That bothers me to this day. We got in the car. Now, my wife's used to this stuff. Jeff Cline's not. I look back in that back seat, and everybody who's ever watched my videos know I got a big heart. I can't read a birthday card. Mike Brook, he knows his without crying. So I reached in the back seat of the car, and I slid my hand up under that wax paper, and I held that little baby right there against my heart. And I cried from Charleston almost to Logan, because my heart was broke. And I asked Nicole, why did they have to abort him? To save his mother's life. You can say you agree with it, and I agree with that. But man, it still hurt people. Now listen, I can tell this to where nobody will know who it was. We get to the funeral home. I pack him inside. I give him to my wife. And I sat down in the lobby. And there was nobody there. This was after hours, about 9 o'clock at night when we got back. And she hollers for me and says she needs my help. I go back in the embalming room, and she says, I'm going to cut these strings. So put your set of gloves on. So I did. She cut these set of strings, and she pulled the string out as I held that dark wax paper that you could not see through in my hand. She unfolded it. There laid the most healthy-looking baby you've ever seen in your life. The top of his head was right there on this middle, I don't want to stick my middle finger up. It's the top of my middle finger. And his feet touched right here where my palm begins. That's how long that baby was. She laid a towel down and poured embalming fluid over. And I laid that baby down on that embalming fluid. And she went out to get another bottle of embalming fluid and a towel. And I looked at him, and he had a membrane over his eyes, but you could see his eyeballs. Membrane over his nose holes and his mouth and his ears. You could tell he was a boy. You could even see his fingernails. And they tell me you're not human until your head crowns, and then they do partial birth abortion and suck your brain out with a needle. No, honey, not in my world. I totally disagree with that. I know. I seen a 20-week-old baby. He was as healthy as he could be. Whatever the problem was, he was going to take his mother's life if he was born. That's all I want to say about that. Abortion is an ugly thing.